Change is something that we all want, but whenever it eventually happens, we can end up regretting it, and this applies with video games. There are obvious examples of sequels being controversial in one way or another, but it also applies to modern live services, early access games, and patches in general, making sure that you might be driven out of your comfort zone. But most of the time, you can trust the game to stay mostly the same, as you're most likely going to get the gameplay or story that you've come to love. However, let's say the people advocating for change isn't the developers who have an artistic vision they want to continue developing, a balanced team with some new ideas, or the fanbase crying out against a certain feature that has a blemish on the game. No, this time, the people advocating for change want to pry the foundation under you for the same lame excuse every time. Your game needs to change. So why don't we explore a few examples the barbarians have tried to push for putting change for the sake of change, and why the games didn't or shouldn't have changed. Starting with a minor example of the Ultra Kill Mayo controversy. Some of you may be confused why I put Ultra Kill in the thumbnail, as it's a game that's received near universal praise, and might be considered one of the greatest modern FPS games ever made. However, the keyword is near, as when Under the Mayo covered the game, it ended up sending the entire Ultra Kill fanbase into a frenzy. So what exactly did he criticize about the game that made everyone so mad? Infinite ammo. Basically, he said that the system of there being no ammo limit makes the game easily playable with only the starting pistol, and therefore the game needed an ammo system, citing Dusk as a counterexample. Combining this hot take with the other points in general antagonistic view of the community at whole, and his video was heavily criticized. But Mayo wouldn't back down from his viewpoint, as future videos on Ultra Kill would continue to push in the direction that Ultra Kill needed more incentive to push players to play with all the tools. But here's the thing, Ultra Kill isn't necessarily about forcing the player to use every tool, but rather giving the player tools that can synergize with each other, and it's up to the player to use them. The design of the game mostly revolves around player expression rather than pure survival, and using just the starting pistol is a choice to play the game in the most boring way possible. The game does force you to use tools at other points, and simply falling back to the least interesting option isn't the game's fault, but rather your own. Most people would see enemies dying slowly, and instead of sticking with the same strategy, they would find a new way to kill enemies faster. We're born to be efficient. And you know what? Maybe trying to make Ultra Kill into an all guns, all the time game might be the mistake. When looking at a lot of new players' footage, you often see the power of them mostly using one or two weapons, and they're still struggling. They're still punished for playing poorly, and yet, most of the time, they're having fun. Because while the guns in the game may be some of the most fun in the entire genre, there's still more to the game than that. It's not just about the weapon swapping and combos, but also the movement, the level design, the enemies, and the exploration of the game. But let's say we want Ultra Kill to be a more challenging game with ammo. How do we do that? Because you can't just add ammo to the levels, you need to change every level in the game. You have to completely rework the cyber grind. How's the rail can gonna work? Which ones get which amounts of ammo? How would checkpoints affect ammo? What about alternate fires? Adding an ammo system to the game just causes so many questions to pop up and create so many problems like it's a bad plot twist. If you still want to argue, even Akira himself is opposed to the ammo idea, as he ends up comparing it to if Dante's sword in Devil May Cry had durability, which makes the player more optimally rather than stylishly. So there you have it. Mayo's suggestions will probably not be implemented into Ultra Kill, as it changes the game too much just for the sake of changing one specific person who wants games to go in one specific direction. However, this is just one guy who ended up getting absolutely dogpiled for his opinion. Because the next tale of people who's demanding change for none is needed is backed up by a much bigger and more prolific group. Game journalists. For quite a while, there has been a debate on whether From Software's games need to add an easy mode or not. Specifically to Souls games and any other game they've made with similar gameplay elements. These games are well known for how difficult they are, to the point that they're marketed with this exact aspect in mind. A lot of people love these games for this exact reason, myself included. However, while I and many others see it as a unique selling point that makes it stand out. Others see the high difficulty as a barrier to entry, and see it fit to put an option to universally reduce the difficulty. This is often packaged with the guise of accessibility, arguing that high difficulty gatekeeps disabled gamers that these games don't need the difficulty. However, I'm going to continue to further put this argument into the grave by saying, 1. Yes, the difficulty is absolutely necessary, and 2. Easier modes don't make the game more accessible, they make the game more approachable. Let's start with the first point. One of the main through lines between all Souls-like games FromSoft has made is not only the difficulty, but the bleak nature of the world. Take Elden Ring as an example, as the world is incredibly fractured and ruled by people that really should have never been given power. It's filled with giant monsters that delete your soul if you move in the wrong direction, and the game wouldn't have the same impact if that wasn't the case. The boss fights against Margit, Radahn, and Melania wouldn't be as memorable if they didn't crush your skull like they were part of low-tier gods' bond team, and you wouldn't be sold under your status as demigods. So that's the necessity of difficulty covered. What about accessibility? One of those common things the easy mode crowd says it would help disabled gamers play, and I'm here to say that's just flat out a lie. Easy mode doesn't make the game more accessible, it makes it more approachable. Accessibility would be adding in a colorblind mode or making controllers for people with only one hand, while making an easy mode would just make the game more approachable for less skilled players who don't want to grind out the game, which is more comparable to modern controls in Street Fighter. And last time I checked, being bad at a video game doesn't make you disabled. What's that? You're still not convinced that the shared difficulty isn't needed? Well, the creator of Dark Souls himself said that he won't be adding any difficulty options because that would disrupt the shared experience of hardship, which is another essential part of the Souls series that makes it so impactful, and why it managed to reach mainstream success when Elden Ring were released. At this point, we've seen 2 times people have tried and failed to push a game into changing into something that contradicts what it is. But what about when these people start to succeed? Well, that brings us back to TF2 once again. But first, what's the first thing that comes to mind when somebody mentions the game? Is it the classes, the gameplay, the fan works? All of those are valid answers, but what I think about is the art style. Truly one of the best art directions in any game, with a timeless 60s inspired style that will always look great. It's got a great sense of consistency, there's humor where it fits, so tell me, why are people still submitting stuff like this into the game? I'll tell you why. It's because of that age-old art that TF2 must change and the art style is evolving. But is it really though? Do all these tacky-looking hats count as an evolution? Apparently yes, because already a few out-of-place items exist, so why should we add more? Well, why shouldn't we just keep tearing off bits of wallpaper on this house just because there's some bit that are peeling off? There's a difference between knowing when to lean into something and knowing when to stop, and honestly, I'd like TF2 to not look like every other FPS game. There's a difference between a joke item that has a punchline and this. To further this, I'd like to show you some special footage. No, there's not a sick clip or a 20 kill streak, but this clip was taken when the item servers weren't working. And you know what? I kinda liked it. Sure, I did miss my kill streak items in Market Garner, but everything looked so clean. There was no obnoxious green or pink paint, no visually noisy unusuals, and no out-of-place hats. It was just the art style as Valve intended years ago. And at least for the first day, a lot of people also like this. Perhaps it's not just Fortnite that would benefit from an OG season. But that's a subject for another video. The point is, if TF2's art style still resonates with people to this very day, then it's simply as good as it needs to be. And it seems that Valve is starting to learn their lesson by adding less holiday-themed cosmetics and more stuff that fits with the general art style. Not with managing the game though, as you still have rampant bots and the fact that the item servers were down for 2 days is comical, so we need to continue to crack down on Valve. But you want to know what gaming company took a lot longer to learn the lesson that compromising the game's identity never works out? 343 Industries, the current company managing Halo. If you know anything about Halo, it's that the last few games have been contentious, to say the least. From Halo 4 copying Call of Duty, to Halo 5 attempting to chase the esports trend, and Halo Infinite's current free-to-play problems, Halo's success has constantly been sabotaged by 343 attempting to chase trends. And don't even get me started on Sprint. From the very start, 343's model has been about trying to expand Halo to a larger audience, and just look at where that got them. Granted, the newer Halo Infinite updates have been an improvement. However, this was only done after all the former management left, and probably the old direction of the series was going with it. But you want to know the worst part of it? You still have people defending 343 just shoehorning ins that only make Halo worse by the age-old argument of Halo needs to change. Yes, that can be true that the series needs a change over time, but change is not always good. I could crash a plane to the World Trade Center, and that would change the building, but who would benefit from me committing an act of terrorism? Okay, that's an extreme example, but you get the idea. Let's cover each of the games case by case. Halo 4, everyone hates that one because it tries to appeal to COD audience while still trying to be Halo, appealing to no one. Halo is a pickup-based game at its core, and adding loads to the game completely ruins it. And COD fans like the low TTK, so playing Halo wouldn't make sense. Halo 5 multiplayer I heard is fun. However, even most die-hard fans of it still mention how it doesn't play like a typical Halo game, which in this case is unacceptable. When I go get some pizza, I'm going to be mad if I end up getting lasagna. Sure, it's not bad, but I wanted pizza, not lasagna. As for Halo Infinite, it does a better job at being a Halo game. However, I feel it's a bit tarnished by the free-to-play model and the fact they refuse to let go of Sprint. I don't care if it doesn't affect the game that much. It still has a problem, and making it less harmful doesn't remove the damage to the core gameplay. And this is still the tip of the iceberg, as if it only covered the multiplayer, not the campaign or story, because that's a whole different rant for another time. Or maybe even 2 rants. The point is, Halo compromised its identity and paid the price for it. So how do you avoid your favorite franchises bowing down to a crowd that won't like it in the first place? You're not going to like to hear this, but gatekeeping. This may sound harsh, but sometimes you have to make sure your community doesn't get infected by bad actors. This includes your typical people who are just horrible, but it also includes people that clearly don't respect the game. Examples of these people include the game journalists that advocate for easy mode in Souls games, and under the mayo pushing the agenda that Ultra Kill needs ammos or to force the players to use all the weapons. Both go against the values that make Ultra Kill and FromSoft's games so good. So naturally, the community makes an active effort to make sure the developers are not influenced. And thankfully, the devs also have a strong vision and adhere to it, so nothing changes. The principle of gatekeeping people who don't understand the game and yet want to change it also applies to TF2, as over time we've seen more pushback against low-quality cosmetics. We have been seeing less of them as a result. Because we may not be able to make Valve be able to do something about the bots. Yet. But at least we can try to make the game look a little bit better. However, I must clarify that when I mean gatekeep, I don't mean complete excommunication. The last thing you want to do is to make your community an echo chamber, after all. Try to hear them out first, and then make sure the opinion that is being spread should be quarantined at all costs. Also, it's not that there's a community that can cause the game to be changed, but new devs becoming part of the management can harm the game's identity. 343 Industries is the best example of new developers ruining a game, as they refused to even listen to pro players when working on Halo 5 and talked about how something needed to change even though none was needed. It's the same with the current state of TF2, that's basically run now by the community. If we don't properly gatekeep it, we won't get the quality content that we deserve. So if you want to keep your game untouched by people who don't care about the finer details on why it's good, keep out the barbarians, pay attention to who's making the game, and keep the flag flying. Thanks for watching, tell me what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.